in Mount Horeb. I'm Zach Camley alongside CE3 himself, Connor Asijan, and this is Wisconsin Huddle. Connor, thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Now, before we get into it, you caught a scorpion out in Arizona, right? Like, how did you catch it? Did you name it? And is it back here in Madison?
I Uber Eats like a plastic container, just because like you never know, right? It was my first time being out in Arizona, and picked up a rock and it was there. So I ended up scooping it up into the plastic container, and then I did end up flying it back here to Wisconsin. So I don't know if that's like the first time ever, and it might be weird, I don't know. But like maybe the first time ever there might be a scorpion in Wisconsin.
Do you have a name for it?
No, I didn't want to get too attached to it in case it died on the plane.
Well, Arizona was the final game in that tough three-game stretch for the Badgers. You know the one I'm talking about. Number 3 Marquette at Michigan State, and then Saturday's tussle in Tucson against top-ranked Arizona. And Wisconsin came out 2-1. They never trailed against the Golden Eagles, made history against the Spartans in East Lansing, but then they didn't play their best against the Wildcats and saw that 6-game win streak snapped.
I don't think there's confidence shaken. I think it's disappointing that we didn't play better. And that's the tip of the cap to Arizona. They made us do some things that were uncharacteristic and get out of context. And when that happens against really good teams, you get yourself behind the 8 ball. They're better than us right now. December 9th, they're better than us. If we want to be at that level, at the top of the mountain, we got work to do.
So, Connor, what did you learn about this team during that 3-game stretch?
It showed that, we're a great team, but, we got work to do. And our goal is to be, one of the best teams in the country. And it showed that we can compete at that level, but it also showed that we're not quite there yet.
Now, A.J. Storr averaged 15 points per game during those 3 games. We've seen what he can do offensively, but on the defensive side of the ball, it seems like he bought in. How long did it take him to fit in with this group?
Honestly, he started clicking a little bit earlier than I thought he would. And, coming from, a totally different play style, different environment, over at St. John's, and for him to, lock in and be able to, understand what Wisconsin basketball is about and to be a part of the culture, and the team, and to see him starting to click and starting to get it pretty early is pretty huge.
Well, another guy who's making his presence felt is John Blackwell. The reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week scored a team-high 17 points against the Wildcats while going 4 of 5 from deep.
Burn throwing to Blackwell. Right corner 3 is good. First from the left, then from the right. 21-19 Arizona.
What do you like about his game? It seems like he is fearless.
Just his drive. I mean, he loves, just to hoop and play basketball. And, he just plays hard all the time. And he'll do whatever is needed at the time, whatever, you can kind of see going throughout the game. But he can score, he can defend, he can pass the ball, he can rebound. And for him to come in as a freshman and have that, that level of, just intensity, and confidence in himself is amazing to see.
All right, well, now it's time for our Quickie Quiz sponsored by Quick Trip. Let's test your knowledge of Wisconsin men's basketball history. Are you ready?
I guess ready as I'll ever be.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Number 1, 2 Badgers have hit 8 3-pointers in a game. Can you name one?
Brad Davison was definitely one, and then Koenig was the other one.
Boom, 2 for 2. All right, number 2. You just mentioned him. Brad Davison is the program's all-time leader in threes made. How many did he make? This is multiple choice. You got
Okay, you saved me on that one.
A, 350, B, 300, or C, 275.
Is it B?
B, 300.
There we go.
2 for 2. All right, might as well get this one right? This one is a tough one. As a freshman, this current Badger broke the school record for most threes made by a freshman. What do you think that guy is?
I think I might know who that is.
Yeah?
Is that me? Connor Asijan?
Connor Asijan.
Okay, there we go.
How many did you make?
69.
69.
69. Yep.
3 for 3, which means we're all getting free drinks from Quick Trip, and don't go anywhere. More from Buck and Honey's in Mount Horeb after the break.
Wisconsin Huddle is brought to you by Gruber Law Offices, Buck and Honey's, Iron Jock, Ellenbox Cheese, West Bend Mutual Insurance, and Team Lemmy, NIL Experts.
Menards is celebrating Ryan Blaney's NASCAR Championship with 12% off everything till Christmas. Add recessed lighting to your home with dimmable 6-inch ultra-thin wafer downlights from Juno. They're easy to install. Just $17.59 after 12% off. Keep your entire home tidy with our great selection of Libman cleaning supplies. Receive a $10 instant savings on any qualifying purchase of $30 or more on all Libman products.
Merry Christmas and enjoy your 12% off everything.
After a serious accident, you'll need a team to fight for the results you deserve. We're here for you whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
Enjoy Buckin' Honeys before, during, or after the big game. Buckin' Honeys restaurants voted Best of Madison and celebrating Wisconsin hospitality in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, and new in Mount Horeb.
Hey, Packers fans, how about celebrating the Packers season in a new 2023 Chevy Colorado Trail Boss? Hey, kick off your winning season with Quick Rewards Packers Points, only from Quick Trip. For every dollar you spend with Quick Rewards, you'll earn a Packers Point. Then with your Quick Rewards app, spend points for your chance to win amazing prizes throughout the season. Your winning season starts at Quick Trip with Quick Rewards Packers Points. See quicktrip.com/sweepstakes for details.
After a serious accident, you'll need a team to fight for the results you deserve. We're here for you whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
I'll switch lives with Carter Gilmore for a day, just a day. I don't know what's going through his mind sometimes, so I'd love to know.
Steve.
Stephen Crow, for sure.
Stephen Crow.
I would like to be 7 foot for at least a day, so being 7 foot would just be amazing.
I just want to be able to just dunk whatever I can. I don't think I'd ever shoot another three the rest of my life if I was 7 foot tall. Because he's 7 foot. He gets all the ladies probably. If he didn't have a girlfriend, my bad, Madison.
And welcome back to Wisconsin Huddle. Now, last year you played basketball at American Family Field, part of the Brew City Battle, right? Cool event, but more special for you because you're related to one of the best brewers all time, Robin Yount.
Yeah, I mean, playing at Infinite Field was crazy. I mean, for me growing up, you know, baseball was a huge part of my life. My dad, you know, was one of my coaches my entire life. Played in some big tournaments. I always was splitting basketball and baseball time as much as I could. And to be able to kind of share the field, you know, with history, you know, in Wisconsin, history, you know, in my family name, to kind of share that. And even in the locker room, you know, he had like a Hall of Fame case sitting there, and, you know, kind of be sitting next to him, theoretically, you know, it was crazy to kind of go through that.
Well, you played high school basketball in Indiana and left as, get this, number 10 all-time in the scoring list with 2,526 points. What was playing Indiana high school basketball like?
Unbelievable. High school basketball in Indiana is crazy. I mean, that's what we're known for. Probably that and cornfields is probably it. But, I mean, it was just an unreal experience to kind of go through that, you know, play, you know, teams that are crazy, playing in high school gyms with 8,000, 9,000 seats and filling it up, to kind of go through that experience and then kind of leave my legacy, you know, in the history forever, passing guys like Larry Bird, you know, in scoring. He didn't have a three-point line, but to kind of go through that, you know, and just kind of have my name engraved in that history is, you know, I'm really blessed for that. That's awesome.
Well, those are a couple fun facts about you. Now let's see how well your teammates know you.
I have a distant relative who was the second person ever to win a Rose Bowl in a World Series.
I'm going to say true on that one.
That's true. That's true. I'm going to say it's true. I think when we played at the Brewer Stadium last year, Robin Yount was a family member of his. I haven't heard the Rose Bowl one quite yet, but I'm sure that one's a truth.
My favorite sneaker that I have is my Travis Scott's.
Lie.
True. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen those come out of the box, so if Con keeps something in the box long enough, I know that one's special to him for sure, so I'm going to go with the truth there.
I'm 6'4".
True.
That's true. Wait, did I say 3? That's 3 truths.
I'm going to have to go. That one's a lie. I already said 2 truths, so I'm going to go with the lie there. I'm going to say he's 6'3 3/4, Nate.
Do more together this holiday in the Chevy that's right for you. The award-winning Chevy Equinox, the hard-working Chevy Silverado, or the all-new high-tech Chevy Trax. Whatever your plans are this season, do more in a new Chevy. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or current Chevy owners get $5,000 total cash allowance on this Silverado. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
At Access, we care about you and advancing your independence. From ramps to stair lifts to bathroom modifications and more, there's a solution to every challenge, and we're here to help you find it. Let us help you get the most out of your home with Access.
Local 5 wants to share your positive stories. Scan the code on screen to submit a story that's positively Wisconsin. Wisconsin Huddle is presented by The Good Guys Heating and Cooling. You've tried the other guys. Now try The Good Guys.
Happy birthday to me!
Join Willie Nelson for an event 90 years in the making.
Let's sing one.
With special guest Dave Matthews.
Every musician loves him.
Miranda Lambert.
Cheers to our cowboy Willie Nelson.
George Strait.
Willie was a hero to all of us.
Carol Crow.
There's nothing like singing with Willie Nelson.
Chris Stapleton.
Happy birthday, Willie. We love you.
Snoop Dogg and more.
Make some noise for Mr. Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson's 90th birthday celebration special. Sunday after 60 Minutes on CBS.
Unlike other procedures, the fat was actually removed from my body, and I didn't have to come back for multiple procedures to have the same area covered. I have more confidence than I have had in a very long time prior to even having children. I feel comfortable in my own skin, my own clothes, and I get a lot of compliments on how healthy I look, and I couldn't be happier.
Contact Blue Wolf Transformations today.
Menards is celebrating Ryan Blaney's NASCAR Championship with 12% off everything till Christmas. Adding Knauf insulation to your home is a great way to protect against heat loss. Knauf insulation is the most effective way to make your home more comfortable and energy efficient. It can save you up to 15% on your utility bills, all while increasing your family's comfort. Get 12% off all Knauf insulation.
Merry Christmas and enjoy your 12% off everything.
Wisconsin Huddle is presented by Window World.
Ten games into their season, and Greg Gard has his team 7-3. They've played some big-time competition and played well against them. And they've also taken a couple lumps. But this group has shown their ability to bounce back, and when they're getting to the free throw line, playing good defense and rebounding, they've shown they can play with some of the best teams in the country.
What I learned, we had a lot of challenges, obviously. We played really good teams, and obviously we saw against Marquette we can be really, really good. Just got to keep working defensively, and everything will come.
It just kind of showed that the hard work we put in over the summer paid off. I think after the first two, we kind of had those a little bit of doubts and looking around, and we didn't want to have what happened last year happen again this year. And we all kind of, as a group, came together and knew that's not the year we wanted to have this year.
Badger Extra columnist Jim Polzine is back with us. Jim, over those last 7 games, 6-1, what has impressed you the most about this team?
I think the offense. I think that was the biggest question mark coming this season. After last season, these guys knew they had to improve in that area. I love the balance they've shown. I mean, it's really a different guy every night. You mentioned the free throws. I think that's the biggest reason for this offensive efficiency going up. Not only are they getting to the free throw line a lot, they're converting at a much better rate.
Connor, we talked about A.J. Storr and John Blackwell. Who's another guy maybe we're not talking about that's doing all the right things and doing a lot for this team?
Yeah, I mean, talking, about Steve. I mean, even though he's one of the key guys on our team, he brings so much more than what people talk and think about. Just his presence, his his passing, the way he works and goes hard in practice and gets everyone better. I mean, he's really, I can say unsung, but not really, because a lot of people do talk about him. But at the same time, he really is such a huge piece to what we do.
Can't forget about Big Steve. Jim, what player surprised you the most this year?
Yeah, I know Connor was talking about it before, but John Blackwell, only because you never know these freshmen how they're going to react to playing at a bigger level. All we see is AAU games and clips on videos, right? You don't know how they're going to react to a bigger and stronger people going against him. Blackwell showed no fear whatsoever. He's just been fearless.
A lot of the same faces on this year's team, but how are you guys different than last year?
Something that we really struggled with last year was kind of finishing out games. There were a lot of times when we had a lead late, we were, had a close game late, and all of a sudden we just kind of fell apart, couldn't get the job done, and to kind of be able to hold on, to some leads, like Marquette, Michigan State, especially those two big games, to never trail to Marquette. That was huge for us to kind of show that we can do that and, stay consistent, for 40 minutes, and Michigan State to finish out strong as well.
Can this team win a Big Ten title, and is this team a lock for the NCAA tournament?
I think they can contend for a Big Ten title. That's a little early to talk locks, right? I don't want to put that on the camera right now. I think certainly they can contend for a Big Ten title. I think Purdue's still the team to beat, but this team has shown me a lot during the non-conference schedule. I think it's going to go down to the final week in March. And yes, I think this team's going to get back to the NCAA tournament. And not only that, but I think they can really make a play for a top 4 seed. I see no reason why they can't do that.
Well, now's a good time to remind you to give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and X to stay up to date with all things Wisconsin Huddle. And be sure to check out our website, too, at wisconsin-huddle.com. We've got to take a quick break. More from Buck and Honey's in Mount Horeb after this.
Wisconsin Huddle is brought to you by Gruber Law Offices, Buck and Honey's, Iron Jock, Ellenbox Cheese, West Bend Mutual Insurance, and Team Lammy, NIL experts.
Enjoy Buck and Honey's before, during, or after the big game. Buck and Honey's restaurants voted Best of Madison and celebrating Wisconsin hospitality in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, and new in Mount Horeb.
Don't get blindsided by the holidays. Get the perfect gift for friends and family. Just go to ellenboxcheese.com to order from their wide variety of gift boxes. Check out all that flavor. And they can be shipped anywhere.
Oh, it's an Ellenbox cheese gift box. Best gift ever.
Do not forget your Ellenbox.
We often get asked,
is it really free to hire Gruber Law Offices after an accident?
The answer is very simple. Yes. We don't get paid until we win your case. It costs you nothing up front to hire Gruber Law Offices. The call, the consultation, all free. You pay nothing until we win your case. It's just that simple. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hey, Packers fans, how about celebrating the Packers season in a new 2023 Chevy Colorado Trail Boss? Hey, kick off your winning season with Quick Rewards Packers points only from Quick Trip. For every $1 you spend with Quick Rewards, you'll earn a Packers point. Then with your Quick Rewards app, spend points for your chance to win amazing prizes throughout the season. Your winning season starts at Quick Trip with Quick Rewards Packers points. See quicktrip.com/sweepstakes for details.
Welcome to this week's Wisconsin Huddle Unleashed. I'm Zach Hanley. She's Lauren Barnes, and we're going to play some checkers. Lauren, when's the last time you played checkers?
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember. It's probably my grandma's basement, like 8 Thanksgivings ago, honestly.
Well, it's been a while, so I have a chance. Good. All right, we'll let you go first.
Oh, man.
So, favorite memory at the Fieldhouse?
Oh, probably my last win there. I think we swept Minnesota to go to the Final Four, not I think. I know. We swept them to go to the Final Four. But, yeah, it's got to be the best one.
So speaking of Minnesota, you started your career there and then transfer to Wisconsin. Why Minnesota in the first place, and then what appealed to you about Wisconsin?
Yeah. So Minnesota was actually one of the only big schools that really was interested in me being recruited. I was not a very big recruit, and I knew growing up I really wanted to play in the Big Ten. Decided to transfer after my sophomore year, and it was kind of just, there's a shift in culture as I was there, and I was just looking for, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Got it. A more kind of competitive atmosphere, and that's what actually brought me to Wisconsin. Is then the same thing. I went on a visit there, got to meet the players, got to meet the coaches, and it was just, again, a no-brainer.
Take me back to 2021 when, that final point goes up or goes down and you're national champs. Like, what was that moment like?
That's probably the hardest thing to describe. Almost, I don't know. It was just unreal. It's like, wow, we did it. And
yeah.
Like, we kind of had to win twice. It's just like everything we worked for was just in front of us, and it was just kind of like we did it.
Right.
So.
And no better way to go out, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's it. All right, Lauren, I have a king, you have a king. Let's just call it a draw. You good with that?
I'm good with it.
All right, more fun and games next week.
At Cellcom, our promise of extraordinary service makes life better for us all. It's about keeping you at the center of every extraordinary thing we do. It's technology with a heartbeat.
Walk through the doors of the Kroc Center in Green Bay and you'll find a state-of-the-art fitness center, aquatic center, arts classrooms, worship space, and so much more. But it's the people who make us what we are so proud to be, a community center. Visit gbkroccenter.org today and find the membership plan that's right for you.
My name is Angie Pecor, and this is my husband Scott and my mom Cindy Miller. We've lived here 8 years this fall. She was getting ready to retire, and her rent just kept increasing. We need to think of a plan of having you come and move in with us. We started looking around and we asked for some builders, and they gave us some outrageous pricing. By God's guidance, we found Linked Living.
Through the whole process, they helped us out. They really understood what we were looking for.
It really was amazing how it all went together.
If you come from the back of our house, it looks seamless.
She has her own place, separate entrance, separate place into the home. This is really a large space.
The getting around in it is very easy.
They're customizing it to the needs of your family and to the needs of the person that you love that's going to live there with you.
I couldn't believe that they would actually want me to come and live with them. I did appreciate that so much.
Check out our model every Wednesday night between 5 and 8 p.m.
'Tis the season to get old-fashioned. Come on and join us for the Christmas dish on Wisconsin Supper Clubs. Join Local 5, where we bring you the stories of the people behind this beloved tradition. The food, the fun. Join us, Christmas dish on Wisconsin Supper Clubs, December 25th at 6:30, with another serving Thursday at 6:30. The Christmas dish on Wisconsin Supper Clubs, only here on Local 5.
Presented by Wisconsin Elevator and Fox Valley Elevator.
Cheers.
Right now at Kane, save up to 10% off MSRP on 2024 GMC Sierra 4-wheel drive light-duty models. Plus, receive $750 Kane Christmas cash to spend as you wish. See Kane for details.
Why pay more? Visit KaneGM.com.
Stay up to date with weather in your area. Scan the code to download the Storm Team 5 weather app and get the latest coverage from the area's certified most accurate forecasts.
Cellcom is making holiday shopping easy. All month long, buy one, get one free on cellular smartwatches, tablets, and cameras. Mix and match to get something for you and the perfect gift for someone on your shopping list. Visit Cellcom.com for details.
All right, we're bringing back one of our all-time favorite segments, but this time it's got a little basketball feel to it. Back in October, you, Chucky Hepburn, and Max Klesman got dressed to the nine for Big Ten Media Day. So obviously, we asked their teammates, are they feeling the fit?
Kept it clean with the all black. Loved the chain supporting his brother Lil Vet. I would give it probably 6.5, 7 out of 10, just because I could have think he had a little more flair.
I'm going to be a hard rater today, so I'm going to give Chucky a 7.5 out of 10. I think he did a good job.
For Chucky on this one, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. I'm a fan of the all black with the gold chain showing and the bow tie. I'm a bow tie guy.
Max here, classic look as well. Went with the tie instead of a chain. Similar look to Chuck as well. Clean. I'm going to go 6.5 as well.
Max, I really like his. It's kind of just a stylish, classy little tux or a little suit. So I'm gonna give him an 8. I just kind of like the simple blue.
Class, I'm gonna give him an 8. Yeah, I'm gonna give him an 8. I'm not really a fan, like I said, of the longer ties, but it looks good on him. He can pull it off.
This is Connor. This is him just being himself. He's gonna come out with a bang. So. Give him credit with showing up with the school colors and the all red. The shoes definitely added a little flair, and I saw all the videos on that. Those definitely garnered some attention, but I'm gonna give him an 8 just because he went for it a little more.
Eyes just burnt looking at Connor's. That's a lot of red. I'm gonna give him a 7. You know, it's a new generation, a lot of colors.
Red is my favorite color. I'm gonna give him a 9 because I'm not a fan of the different shades of reds in the shoes. The shoes are a darker red than the suit.
Let's get your thoughts on these media day fits.
Let's see here. Okay, Chuck went with the all black. You know, it's not. I like it. I like it a little bit. I like it. Clean. He's got the chain hanging out too. He doesn't have any ties on, but kind of adds a little bit. I do like all black does look. You can't go wrong with all black though. So I do like Chuck. So I'm gonna have to go. He could be better though. I've seen Chuck dress, you know, and he can put it on. He didn't go all the way though. So I'm gonna give him like an 8 for that.
Would you wear that outfit?
I'd wear that. Yeah,
okay.
I'd wear it. Yeah.
What about Max's?
You know, that's just Max, just a clean cut, you know, guy. But he could have done a little better too. But I do like them both. Just some clean fits. I'd give him probably an 8 as well.
Okay.
They both could get a little bit better, but I do like them.
And yours, all red, bow tie, and then the shoes.
I mean, 10, right?
Right. Yeah. Obviously.
No, I mean just kind of want to do something a little different. I didn't really know what they were going to do before, and so I just kind of wanted to go with, you know, the red, the school color.
And that's it for this week's Wisconsin Huddle. Be sure to join us next week at our live taping on Monday, December 18th, right here at Buck and Honey's in Mount Horeb. For Connor Asijian, I'm Zach Hanley. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
I'm a first man.